All right. What's going on, guys? I am back. It is a beautiful day outside. Sun is shining, much better than yesterday when all the crappy rain going on. Um, I haven't uploaded in about a week. I'm trying to get more and more regular with the uploads, trying to get more and more topics to go through with you guys. And one that I think is going to be widely talked about from now until the foreseeable future, and I think we're going to learn more and more about it as the year goes on, and even in 2020. Something that isn't making news as much as I think it would if we weren't in a pandemic, and I think that's why a big reason why a lot of this stuff is being let out now to the public. Of course, as you know by the title of the video, I am talking about the fact that the Pentagon has pretty much confirmed that there's life elsewhere. I don't want to put words in the mouth. What they said was, I have two articles pulled up here. They have acquired off-world vehicles not made on this Earth. Now that's the Pentagon. That's not, a government, this organization where it's speculated, like Area 51, for instance, that there's, do they have these things? Do they not? And what is Area 51? Is it secret, like a weapons facility? Is it top secret in that regard? Is it, I'm not talking about Area 51. We're talking about the fact that the Pentagon openly said that they have off-world vehicles that weren't made on this Earth. They weren't made on this planet. Which means they were made elsewhere, which therefore means there is life other than us, intelligent life, somewhere, to some capacity. Again, we don't know what. But it's so crazy that, this kind of discovery isn't plastered all over the news, because it's been years and years and years of denial and spinning don't get me wrong, for every legitimate, person that has a UFO sighting, there's 5 times as many wackos that just want the attention, and they are nuts. You know what I mean? Like, there's people that make stuff up. It's something to where on this channel I want to be as credible as possible with all the news I bring you guys and everything I talk about and my honest opinion on all these things. So when you talk about UFOs, it's one of the most critical things you need to make sure you're, fact checking and checking references and sources, because 9 times out of 10, it's a BS story. There are those one that that one that might check out. And for instance, if you know who Bob Lazar is, any of you guys know, you should check it out. His story is one that checked out for years. Right, it checked out, and he went back and predicted an element that they were using. He apparently reverse engineered one of these crafts that the Pentagon now claims to. They confirm they have. He talked about this element that was gonna become a thing, and it became a thing like 20 some years later or something like that. I'm sorry, I'm blanking, but you can go look it up. His story is well documented. He's had the most consistent story about these things for years. But I thought it was interesting that when you consider the time frame of all this, right, back in February and March, early March, mainly, when everything started hitting the fan, like in the country, everything started going a little crazy. Sorry, I'm fixing you guys here. Going a little crazy, and the pandemic, glare is bright. The pandemic is coming through, and it's just starting to make its way through the country. The Pentagon releases a little taste. If you guys remember this, back in March it happened. Maybe some of you don't. They released aerial footage from a naval officer, I believe, who was tracking UFO or this UFO that came up on the camera feed. There's two separate videos, but they basically released these, unclassified them, and said, yeah, UFOs exist. Now back then it was more of the speculation, and this is where things have changed right here. This is the point I'm trying to make. Back then in March, up until that point, it was all, do UFOs exist? Yes or no. What are they? Okay, and then up to March when they released that, it said these are unclassified now. The public can see them. They're vehicles that we don't know what they are. We don't see them. We don't know where they're made, if they're made on this earth or not. But if they are, they do things that stuff that the United States, the Pentagon was saying the United States cannot do. So whoever got possession of these crafts or the technology that they hold to do the things that they do, that would be a game changer for any nation to have, because the things they do are incredible. Stuff that we can't do with our propulsion systems. So up until then, it was more of a national security question rather than a do aliens exist. It was more of, whatever they are, we need the technology, because if another place gets it, or this is from another country, they have a huge advantage over us in any kind of future war or conflict or anything like that. The game changer now, which is why I said I'm surprised that it's not making news, is the fact that they're now saying, yeah, we have these vehicles in our possession. They're not made on this earth. Like, if you push pause right there and just be like, wait, so they're not made on Earth. Not made on this Earth, off-world. I don't know why people, like, this isn't bigger news. I mean, I saw Fox News, Tucker Carlson cover a segment, and I think somebody on CNN did. But then it was just blown on the rug. And I started thinking, I was like, why isn't this years of denial and years of, calling out these people for being kooks and being crazies and, aliens, there's no possible way. Whether or not you believed in them or not, up until this point, it was always, are the UFOs, or are they just something that secret governments are working on, our governments are working on that they don't want the public to know about. But the Pentagon just took that credible argument away, and they said, no, we have these things and they're not made here. Hello? And it baffles me. But then I started thinking about it, and I said, you know what? They are smart. That, if there was a time you were going to release doses, drip of information, just keep dripping it, little by little. Now, I forget the guy's name, but I was listening to a podcast of actually Talk is Jericho, if you ever listen to that, if you're a fan of wrestling or not. I am. Piece of news for you, but this guy was talking about how he's been predicting a lot of things up until now. I gotta pull his name. I'll put the link below to the guy. But he said that up until this point, they're going to start dripping information, and he said they're going to do it slowly, because if you don't, then you all of a sudden tell people that aliens exist and there's other intelligent life. I don't even like using that term aliens, because it's kind of like a credibility killer. If you use the word, aliens, extraterrestrials, like other intelligent life, no matter what they look like, what they are, intelligent life exists, and they have stuff like things that we can't do, like the crafts, apparently. But he said they're going to drip information. And the more I started reflecting on that, I said, yeah, now that there's a global distraction of a pandemic, a lot of movements going on. The streets in the U.S. are rioted, a lot. A new movements happening into full effect. About over racial injustice, and all this distraction in the world, and the government's. There's some guy, whoever he is, in that department, in Washington or wherever, in the Pentagon, that's going, Why don't you, you know what, push it out now. Make it public. Let them know. If there's ever a time to do it, there's enough distraction going on right now that people aren't gonna care nearly as much. It's not gonna freak them out because they're already living in fear and they're already freaked out by stuff going on Earth. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. It's very important to remember as we go into this. If, however, 2012 ends, or 20, Jesus, wow, I'm going back 8 years. Excuse me. Ooh, 2020 ends. No matter how that ends, how this year ends, hopefully better than it started. But it's been a tough year for everybody. Some more than others. You know, everyone who lost people. My heart goes out to you guys. I have been lucky enough, counting my blessings and my prayers. Nobody really close to me has had, has gotten sick. I can't say it on here, so. I count my blessings every day for that. But no matter how it ends, it's important to realize that when we go down this path, the intelligent life, it's important to know and consider and, think that whatever claim happens now about these crafts or whatever, you have to know now that the Pentagon has confirmed that they have them. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of they have it and what are they. And when we're talking about discovering intelligent life. No, I don't think that if we ever do, which I think it's a matter of time, but if we ever do fully get the answer of what they are or what the intelligent life is that was